Welcome to Meet Your Neighbor, the podcast that highlights the people and stories that make Westbrook Village a truly exceptional community. I'm your host, Steve Marilla, local realtor, neighbor, and proud member of this vibrant community. Each episode, we sit down with residents to learn about their careers, life experiences, and what brought them to Westbrook Village. It's a chance to connect, share, and celebrate the unique journeys that shape our neighborhood. Thanks for tuning in. And now, let's meet your neighbor. Welcome to Real Estate Talk with Steve and Kjersten. We have a new name, kind of a new podcast. We're really experimenting with this, and my feedback I've gotten is less facts, more Kjersten. So,
really?
Yeah, people like to listen to you. I think it humanizes me.
Well, I like being on here, so that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, so last time we checked in with Kjersten, which is This will be our first Tuesday of every month. We're just going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep changing the podcast until it makes sense for me, business wise and giving back wise, and just makes sense to do. And I enjoy doing it with you. So I say one thing we want to talk about is on the last episode, you've had a lot of feedback from what?
The couch tube. Was that a month ago already?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So when we last talked, the couch tube had been ordered and it hadn't arrived. So it arrived while you were in Arizona. So I tested it. It did not work well with a single person on it. It didn't balance or pull quite right. So my mom got on it with me, which totally shocked me. Not that she doesn't love the water, but I just can't believe she wanted to do it. So she's got a bad back. Like, it's just, I didn't really think it would be her thing. My dad was very nice and pulled us like a little bit around the lake. And I think as we were on it, it was like slowly deflating. And we were not at max capacity. Like you and I would be about max capacity for it. Her and I were definitely not. But it still it didn't work. It was for two adults. But
I think
it was mislabeled.
Get on it with you anyway, because one, your dad's not gonna do anything crazy with you on there, but his love for doing things to me might overrule his love for his daughter and whip me around. And
I don't want to whip around on it. I just wanted to chill. And it so in theory, they look fun. It sounded fun. It got returned. Long story short.
Gotcha.
So no more couch tube for anyone who's wondering why I'm not posting on Facebook about the couch tube. It doesn't exist.
Well, you know what? We have not been doing a lot of social media posts for this podcast because I'm kind of in between where we're going to go with this and figuring out what it's going to be. It's hard to do interviews in the summer, so I've kind of changed that up a little bit. But so we'll use your picture with your mom on the tube as a little Facebook. So look forward to seeing that on really Facebook. Cute. And I think that will.
Well, she's so stinking cute. She just giggled the whole time, I think.
Yeah.
It was fun.
So we're going to talk today about what it takes to close a home and kind of the process, because you need to sell it more than once. And it's, we'll talk about that. But I want to talk about what we're going to talk about on the next episode, because I had a great experience this last couple of weeks. A woman in Westbrook, she's looking to remodel her home. She lives close to her parents, and she wants to know, am I overpricing my home? How much can I put into it? Where's the threshold? And I think that's a good conversation for next month.
Absolutely.
So it's nice that we have something to talk about next month.
Yeah.
So
at what point isn't it worth it?
Right.
Yeah.
And it just depends. There's a lot of variables, and I think that's a good conversation. So that's going to be September.
That'll be fun
because it's August right now. So today we're going to talk about closing a home, and we'll go back to not my first closing, because my first closing I represented a buyer, and when you represent buyers, it's kind of nice because you don't get a lot of publicity. I mean, you want publicity because you're selling a home, but it kind of flies under the radar, and it's a fun, you can do a lot of buyer transaction and nobody knows. And it's,
sure. There's no sign in the yard.
You don't get a lot. I like the sign. You want the sign in the yard and you want the
that's an advertisement.
But sometimes it's kind of nice representing buyers. And everybody wants to have listings. But so on a listing, I had people come up to me and because we got under contract, and they said, "Congratulations, you sold Johnny's house." And I go, and I was thinking, you know what? Yeah, I
Like,
sold it.
yeah.
I'm like, no, I didn't, because
No.
guess what? It didn't sell.
Yeah.
And it's a process. You don't, once you become a realtor, you realize that you're under contract. And that's a contract, so it's a binding agreement that you have a buyer that's gonna buy your house. So if you're a seller, you're like, "All right,
Yeah. Woohoo.
I'll take that."
Yeah. We're under contract. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And the buyer's like, "Oh, hey, I got my price," and
Yep.
hopefully they both feel like winners and they gave up and they're happy. But then
Don't start packing yet.
don't start packing
Is that what
yet.
you were going to say? I could tell by the look on your face.
No,
Don't start packing yet.
I'm looking to you for all the good lines. And so when someone says this, you sold the home, but you didn't really sell it because it's just under contract. And now, you have to, on the buyers have to, get their money to escrow. They have to get under escrow. And then the
Inspection.
Yep. Let's not get ahead of me, Kjersten.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
We're not to an inspection yet.
Appraisal.
Through my thought process. Nope. Appraisals last too. Aren't you married to
Why
a
am I
realtor?
on this podcast?
I don't know. Just to ask questions.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, you're right. All those things. Those are the key steps. If you want an overview, is you get under contract, you sell it to the buyer. Well, then you have to sell it to the inspector and go through the inspection process and prove the house is good enough. Is it what they thought it was? And that's where a lot of them fall through.
Mm-hmm.
And then the appraisal, especially in a market like this when not a lot of houses are selling, or the worst scenario is when you have a price that is totally overpriced, which might be good for next year or next month's conversation. Because if you build $1 million house in a 500,000 house neighborhood, you're in a little trouble if you ever want to sell that.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the thing about Westbrook. What do we call them? Toe tag homes. Yeah.
Well, we don't, but I've heard them called that before.
Yeah.
But we dealt with that. We dealt with that personally in our last house in St. Paul. The house could have used some updating, but at what point do you stop sticking money into it? Because the neighborhood doesn't warrant it, and you're not going to get it back. So that'll be a good conversation. Anyway, back to today's conversation. Right.
And speaking of our home and inspections in general. Inspections are an odd thing because inspectors sometimes focus on things that are very important to them. Like for our home in Minneapolis and St. Paul, they wanted a septic.
Weirdest things.
It was sump pump.
The sump pump and the smoke detectors.
And the smoke detectors, everybody.
No, but there had to be 9,000 other things that were more severe than what we had to fix.
Yeah. So it
I would
is
think,
funny.
But it's all different, I'm sure.
Right. Well, you want to find a home inspector that is very black and white and isn't personally involved and doesn't have a grudge towards a certain item.
Sure.
I mean, in Arizona, especially in Westbrook Village, the two most expensive things we're going to do to our home are going to be the roof and the HVAC. So you want those are the big ones. And then foundation, windows, are an issue. So you need to get through that inspection period, and which is very stressful for both parties because you have the buyer who wants the perfect home. You have the seller that says, "Hey, it's a used car. I maintained it well. It's perfect." And especially when they lived in it for
30 plus years,
said, hey,
it's not going to be perfect.
So that is the second phase, and that is probably it's the hardest phase to get through as far as there's just not. You can come from a very different approach, right?
Sure, and I'm sure every inspector is different, like you said. Some probably hyper focus on certain areas. Some, I don't know, do some nitpick more than others.
Well, as a realtor, you want the most honest,
you want
nitpicky inspector as possible, especially because the buyer picks the inspector. And then
is that the same in every state?
I'm not sure. I only do real estate in Arizona. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, okay. No,
But
I
yeah,
know.
I
Good
don't-
point. But I
No,
wonder if
in some
it's
states,
different.
and I believe Montana, because I just sold a house to a guy in Montana, in Westbrook, and he said in Montana they have a list of 1 to 10. They have to give them multiple choices of inspectors, and he said number one, he asked the realtor. He says, "So, is there any range are these in order in any significant way?"
Right.
And he said, "Yes, they are." The top one, all inspections get through. The bottom one, just a lower ratio.
Yeah.
At least that's the way he explained it. And
I would guess that's true everywhere, but
yeah,
you don't always have the list. Yeah.
No, you don't always have a list. And personally, I want to have an inspector when I'm representing a buyer. I want my inspector. I have one that I really like to use because he's very fair. He doesn't blow things out of proportion. Because so many times a maintenance item becomes an issue when it's like, really, there's a crack in the wall. It's a very fixable.
Yeah.
But all these things on the seller side add up because you're spending so much time, and it's not even the money. So, and then, the one thing about real estate that you have to understand is I have to facilitate this transaction, and I have to do it because if you have a very emotional client and they're going to take offense because your buyer just said your house is crap.
Right. There's 30 things wrong with it.
Yeah. And I want all
And you
these
thought
fixed.
it was perfect. Yeah.
And they're like, well, we're not doing anything.
Right.
So,
I get it.
And so it's really about how you talk to people and understanding where they're coming from. And for me, being a people pleaser, I'm going to stop that though. I think.
You're going to stop pleasing people. I'm going to put that to a screeching halt.
Yeah, that's done. No, but you want to listen to where they're coming from and not just listen to their words, but understand that what else is going on there. Why is this so important to you that, whatever's going on? It's very emotional. You have to kind of figure it out. I think psychiatrists would be good realtors.
We've talked about this. You are somewhat of a psychiatrist.
I'm not.
Well, realtors are, because there's so much emotion. And whether you realize it or not, you're going through this roller coaster ride with either the buyer or the seller. And your job as a realtor is to just keep everybody calm. We're going to get through this. This is normal. We're going to work through it.
Right.
So there is definitely some psych management, let's call it. Especially with wives, I'm sure, who can maybe be a little bit more emotional than husbands, or anxious or worrisome, or
I wouldn't say
I remember when we sold in St. Paul, our realtor was like, is Kjersten good? Like, my job is to is she good?
Yeah, I feel that's kind of old school. I find men that are more anxious than women sometimes. I probably agree. There's probably maybe more women that
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that was a fair statement or not, but
it is. And that's a struggle too. When one of the spouses are super easygoing,
yeah, let's just get it done. Whatever.
Hopefully, their marriage is far enough along that they know how to respond to each other. Because you get in the middle of it, and you don't know. That's I've been told
it's a high risk area buying and selling a house.
Told by clients. This was a wife at the time. She said, "He's overreacting. It takes him a couple days. It'll sink in.
Sure.
We'll get to the point we need to get to. Don't worry, Steve." Because I'm like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
I mean, because, you just, that knee-jerk reaction is tough fun. So, yeah, it can be tough. I mean, you're talking about, geez, I have a list in front of me of everything that could go wrong with a house, and it is incredible.
So you mentioned selling it 3 times.
Yeah.
And the third one is not the appraisal. But I would guess, do you often see appraisals waived when you have cash buyers? And
cash buyers, yes.
I feel like
they don't care what it's.
Now, I know you don't sell just in Westbrook. Steve sells all over Arizona, by the way. That's a misconception that drives me crazy. He is licensed in the state of Arizona, not just in Westbrook.
Well,
but we talk about Westbrook a lot because that's where we live. But
the first house I sold was in Scottsdale.
Yeah, but some people are shocked when they hear that you can work beyond the 8 square miles of Westbrook. So the appraisal, I would say in Westbrook, you deal with a lot of.
Well, let me get you back to Westbrook. I love selling homes in Westbrook. I love listing homes in Westbrook. I get to go to work in a golf cart.
I know, and we live there.
I get to help people in my community.
We live there,
so
of course.
It's more personal to me, but yes, it's the same process everywhere. I really, when I get called to do a listing appointment, you go interview for the listing. You say, this is the amazing marketing program I'm going to give your home. Mm-hmm. You're going to get like no other. But the main thing is, a lot of us realtors do things the same way. There's the same websites. It looks similar. But back to what's important about when I do a listing appointment is making a personal connection with that person. Because I'm very honest. I'm like, we need to interview each other.
Absolutely. I don't know if it has to go both ways, right? Right. And a lot of people probably don't really think about that.
Well, if you're listing someone's home, especially in this market, we're going to have a relationship for a while because it's not going to sell in a week. I mean, the fastest selling realtors right now in Westbrook that usually sell in 2 weeks are sitting on homes for 4 months. Mm-hmm. And I want people to be aware of that. I want it to sell in 5 days. I'm going to do everything I can.
Yeah, but it might not. Y'all better get along.
Yes, and we're going to be working together for a while. Yeah. And what's the most important thing in a relationship? Communication. Mm-hmm. So if I'm listing your home and we're going to be talking for 6 months, we're going to constantly be communicating and talking back and forth. And I don't just say, hey, I'm going to call you every Monday. I say, how often and how would you like communication? Because some people don't want to talk to me that much. Yeah. I said, I'll give you email, text, phone calls, visits, whatever you want. Yep. So yes. So back to the 3 steps of selling is, yes, the appraisal is scary, especially in this market, because you can come in and think if the seller thinks they're getting a good price and the buyer thinks they're buying it for a good price, but there hasn't been a house that's sold in that neighborhood for 90 days at that price, then it really is a struggle to.
So 90 days is as far back as they'll look when they do a comp?
I believe it's 30 days.
Oh, 30 days.
Yeah. But if one hasn't
30
sold in 90.
Yeah.
I mean, I just use 90 days as a.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So that's not like
30 days. That's not a rule.
Oh, okay.
But I'm saying if homes aren't selling.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
So appraisal.
Yeah. So that's an appraisal. So yes.
That's the episode, folks.
Well, what happens is, yes. So the appraisal itself. So the appraisal comes in light. You're selling your house you agree you're going to pay $420. The appraisal comes in at $490. So what do you do?
Well, I mean, it's different, right? If you have a mortgage versus...
No, it's not. Well, yeah.
Versus I am a cash buyer.
Here's what typically happens. You have to somebody has to eat that amount.
Yep.
And either they both eat it.
Yep.
They split it 15-15 or one...
50-50 or 15-15.
Well, if it's a $30,000 difference, it's 15-15.
Oh,
sorry. I
using see your math.
$420 and $390. Boy, you're feisty tonight. Jeez, let's get this thing over with. But yes. So yes, the appraisal is the other real struggle.
Okay.
So yes. So you have to sell a house 3 times. And all of them are stressful. It's stressful to put in a contract. Am I paying too much? It's stressful to accept a contract because am I giving up too much? And then you get to the appraisal and you have 2 sides of the appraisal. Or the inspection and then the appraisal. So it can be stressful, but so that's why we say you have to sell the house 3 times.
Yeah. It's a lot of people probably don't think about that right away. Yeah.
But yeah. So when next time you're going to sell a home, understand that once you sell it, and once you get to the point, and it's funny because I think sometimes sellers forget all the work they have because as soon as especially
don't start packing.
I think initially they know they have, hey, I'm putting my house up for sale. It's going to be a lot of work, but they don't expect it to sell right away. And then when you do get an offer, I swear, I think as humans, we kind of wait. Well, I'm not going to start doing the work now because I could never, maybe I won't ever sell.
Right.
And then all of a sudden the stress starts. So everything in this, and it depends on the personalities, but everything through this 3-phase process of selling your home is stressful.
Yeah.
A lot like doing this podcast with you. It's been very stressful. I mean, I was fixing up something on the table, and I got yelled at for that. You can't hear her, but she's grabbed my hand. It's been crazy.
Well, my dad has called me like 3 times. I don't know what's going on with my dad.
So
3 times in like 20 minutes. So
well, let's wrap it up.
Well, I don't want to cut you short on your professional podcast.
Well, we just.
I mean, what else do you want to talk about?
Phases.
Okay.
Well, I think I am really looking forward to next month's talking about how much do you put into a home, and then really specify and work on Westbrook residents, because that's gonna be fun, because we're going to get to talk about some beautiful homes.
Yep.
I mean, there's some $1 million homes in our neighborhood.
Yes, and I have a suggestion for that podcast.
All right, you tell me later.
On that next podcast.
Yep. You ready?
Okay,
Bye.
I'm ready.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye everybody. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you. Thanks again for tuning into the Meet Your Neighbor podcast. Real estate is how I'm able to support this show and give back to our community. If you or someone you know is thinking about buying or selling a home in Arizona, I'd love to help. I also offer a free real estate review, basically a health checkup for your home's value and market position. You can call or text me anytime at 651-295-6830. Again, that's 651-295-6830. I'd be honored to help you or your neighbors with the next chapter of your real estate journey. And thanks again for listening, and be sure to keep connecting.